If you were building that as a purpose-built rental, you needed 25% of equity
or more.
and there was no way to get even close to the same returns. They just weren't apples to apples. So every developer in the city that wasn't a pension fund said, I'm going to build condo because I can make more return on my equity. It's simple math.
When you're bringing this or deals, multiple deals to investors, you don't want to take them into harm's way, especially when people are nervous now and not sure about where things are going and where things are heading. So what are you looking for now in deals that make you feel comfortable? Because I mean, you don't have to do any deals at all. You could sit around for a couple of years and wait for the dust to settle. Like what makes you comfortable these days, and what are you looking for?
Yeah, it's a great point. We did a lot of work in the high rise space, and today I'm a little gun shy in high rise, and it's kind of for two sides to it. I think that you're seeing the high rise that are selling, at 1,100 a foot moving, and I just don't know how they're going to have enough profit in the deal to actually build it. So you can sell it at 1,100 a foot, but can you build it and have a profit? And we see deals at 15, 16, 1,700, and they're just take a lot longer to get your pre-sales, if you'll even get them. They're just not moving. The more expensive ones aren't moving as fast. So do you want to have a long sales cycle and hope that you actually get there? So I think high rise only works in specific locations where people want it so bad that they're willing to pay that 1,600 a foot where there will be a profit. Maybe it's 1,500 a foot where there will be a profit. But then you look back at who's buying, and if it's an investor, and will they be able to get a tenant to cover their cost in 5 years when it's finished? And most of the time it's no. So we're kind of gun shy on high rise unless it's a perfect scenario. Where we really see lots of opportunity is in sort of mid rise, like smaller buildings like this 6-story, or stack towns and towns. And there's a lot of reasons for it. The main ones are that the construction costs are way less. Like we have a townhouse project at Vic Park and Shepherd that we just raised some money for, where we're talking about selling the townhouses for 800-900 a foot. And just down the street, a developer at Shepherd and Vic Park earlier this year sold condos at like 1,200 a foot there. And the condo that you're buying there, might be 600 square feet for $1 million, but our townhouse will be 1,000 square feet for $1 million, or 1,100. So
And have a backyard.
And it may not have a backyard.
Oh, it's a
rooftop.
stack.
It's a stack. So if you're on the top one, you'll balcony. Have a rooftop balcony. And I just think it's a way better. We call it attainable housing. It's we're not worried about, is that going to sell? Are we going to be able to sell a 3-bedroom townhouse for $1 million at Vic Park and Shepherd? I'm not worried about that. We're not going to sell for another year and a half, but I'm not worried about selling that. I am worried about condos selling. So I'm not worried about townhouses selling. The construction costs are much less, more simple. And then with interest rates, like to build a 50-story tower is going to take you at least 4 years of construction. So you're paying 8% for 4 years. That's a much higher cost than it used to be. And in a stack town, you're probably 18 to 24 months of construction, and your interest is going to be half. So both hards and softs are cheaper, and your time is quicker, and investors love shorter time horizons. So we're really bullish on towns and stacks. And we think there's still a ton of areas in the 416 with the Finch West LRT and Scarborough and South Etobicoke. We think there's lots of great spots where you could build that. And to people who are looking for housing, that's what I think people want. The whole greenbelt thing and the sprawl. I do like the greenbelt, so I'm not gonna say anything bad about the greenbelt, but the reason why the developers want to do that is because that's where the demand is. People want a backyard. They had their condo that they bought in 2015 or 2016 or whatever, and it's had enough of a lift that now they've got a little equity base, and they don't want to live. They're building out their family, and they don't want to live in a shoebox in the sky, and they want more space and a backyard. And so they want to move to Pickering or Stouffville or Brooklyn or one of these smaller outside the city where they can get more, in theory, they can get more space. But we're seeing that even the stack towns in the city, you're getting a lot more space, and it's kind of following the demand, and the demand is for price points that make sense.
That makes sense. It sounds like a lot of the direction you're going into is more for the end users, right? Like you got townhouses, smaller
Bigger
boutique
units.
buildings.
Well, that's another
more
thing,
likely
is that,
higher percentage of end users.
Well, and as in, like, we've been talking about the Manhattanization of Toronto for 12 years already.
Episode 1 of our show was called that.
Was it one? It was one of them.
Yeah.
One of the first ones. Yeah.
So that's been a line we've been saying for 12 years, and that you know, we haven't built since the MURBs. The government got rid of the MURBs, I think, in the early 80s. The MURBs were a tax incentive to build multi-family residential, and then rent control came in, and so nobody built purpose-built rentals for years. And I can tell you there were at least 10 or 12 projects where we in you know, between 2011 and 2020, where we looked at it and said, can we make it a rental building? And the reality was that because you could pre-sell and get deposit money, your equity check was 10 to 15% of the capital stack, because you could use 10% of deposits. If you were building that as a purpose-built rental, you needed 25% of equity and there was no way to get even close to the same returns. They just weren't apples to apples. So every developer in the city that wasn't a pension fund said, I'm going to build condo because I can make more return on my equity. It's simple math.
But everybody looked at it and said,
period.
like, this should be a purpose-built rental building, but like everybody wants to build them. Right? It never makes more sense to do it.
Hey guys, thanks for watching our clips channel. Why don't you go and check out some more clips? We got lots of other good content somewhere over here. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.
Boom.
That was good.
That was good. I like that. That was good.